really and truly, we've been consistently having 30 to 35 new patients a month that literally walk through our doors.
We've been averaging about 5.5 new patients per week. This is the first thing that's worked for me in a long time.
We saw 50 new patients last month. I can't think of anything that I've ever seen bring in that many new patients consistently.
First month, we had 60 new patients. I didn't know it could work that well.
For the first time in our 5 years of marriage, he's planning a vacation for us to go on. I'm excited and hopeful that we'll actually get a honeymoon.
I'm Dr. Joe Utash with Wellness Key Chiropractic here in Tucson, Arizona. I actually enjoy chiropractic marketing. I love chiropractic so much that it's easy for me to talk to other people about chiropractic. That's not the problem. Sometimes the time is, and then the use of technology, which is maybe something I'm not so great at. And so in the past I've used, last year was almost 100% Facebook. I've of course dabbled in things like Google AdWords and that type of thing. Even in the past I've used Yodel. And a year before that I hired a lady who did some Facebook online stuff, and we even found that she was like posting some ads on Craigslist. So I'm not sure what her strategy was, but it ended up being $5,000 to start. Actually it was $8,000 because it's $5,000 to start plus like the first month or two or something like that. So it was like $8,000 chunk, like bam, like right up front. And initially the leads started pouring in, and then pretty quickly, after about the 3-month mark, things started tapering down. Overall, I mean, if the last probably 12 to 15 months that I used her, it kind of started out high, and then it kind of, opposite the stock market, kind of went down more than it went up. Some months we were profitable with it, some months we weren't. We tried doubling ad spend, we tried doing this and that. And so again, I'm like, okay, this is kind of frustrating. I'm spending the money, $1,500 a month plus ad spend, and it's exhausting. Throughout the years, I've tried, you name it, online and offline, and they're all things that I've started and stopped just because the ROI has not been good.
I'm Dr. David Hausman, and I practice here in Nashville, Tennessee. I am the proud owner of Stronghold Health. My first kind of immersion in that experience was me just hopping on thinking, well, I'm smart enough to figure this out, so I'm gonna hop on and I'm gonna do a Facebook ad, and I'm gonna craft the ad, and it can't be that hard. There's a little guideline on the back end of Facebook ads where at least it lets you know who's going to see your ad, how much money are you going to spend, all that kind of stuff. So I figured I was smart enough to figure it out. And of course, I spent not a lot of money, like $75, $100 on an ad, and it had 0 ROI. Nobody clicked on it, nobody going to our landing page. So for me, that was kind of a big wake-up call. Hey, maybe I should hire an expert. So that's exactly what we did as our next step. We ended up working with a local social media company here in Nashville, and they were charging us $3,500 a month, making a lot of really, really big promises that they were going to increase the number of likes on our business page. They were going to help us with our Instagram followers. They were going to, I believe the promise they verbally made, but not on paper, bring in 100 new patients for us over the course of a year, which seemed pretty realistic, about 10 new patients a month or so. And after 3 months of working with them, just had nothing, 0 ROI. And so for me, it was very difficult to justify continuing with that company. And unfortunately, I didn't really think things through ahead of time, and I got locked into a contract with them. So I ended up having to pay 50% of the remaining months to get out of that contract. So I believe this month actually is our last monthly payment to that company. So it ended up being about $22,000 when it was all said and done. And they tried taking us to court and suing us for it. So, that was a big lesson for me, that if I was gonna work with anybody, it was gonna be no contracts.
My name is Dustin Rose. I'm a chiropractor in Fort Worth, Texas. So we've tried pretty much everything. Our office is 6 years old, so anything that we could do marketing-wise as far as screenings, business groups, passing out flyers, walking around, that type of stuff, to putting ads on grocery carts. So we've done it all. Most screenings that you go to, you're definitely paying a couple $100 just to get in front of people's, in front of their view, and they might just walk by your table. So it's even harder to capture people's attention doing those things. More so actually get them involved and interested in what you're doing, get them into the office, and it's very expensive to take somebody from that to get them on a treatment plan. It's a lot of time and it's a lot of work, traveling all over town, trying to meet as many people as you can, and they might or might not show up in your office. Doing those type of things, and even in business groups, it just wasn't as effective as it should be. There was not the return of investment that there should have been with those type of things. We were locked in with another company that was running Facebook ads for us, and it was nothing special. We had to sign a contract. They were doing things that I was able to do on my own. They weren't doing any special skills as far as this is how much you should spend on your ads, this is what your ads need to say. And that was pretty unfortunate because they weren't able to bring in any new patients for us, so it was just a giant waste of time and money. We spent over $1,500 for them to run one ad and got 0 patients from it. So you could imagine being a small business owner, you spend that much money, you expect to at least get something. So that alone was really frustrating. My wife was like, what are we doing with these guys? So yeah, we obviously did not continue with them. We spent a lot of money on different marketing ideas and chased the shiny lure for a while, and it really had no effect on our business.
My name is Dr. James Heath. I'm a chiropractor in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've been in practice for 20 years now, and back in the day, I had a great big ad in the yellow pages, and that was really great. After a while, I started finding that it actually was less and less effective. So I've tried tons of things. I've tried direct marketing or direct mail. I've tried ads. I've tried dinners. I've done lots of health fairs. Those things like the dinners and the health fairs certainly very time intensive. But I've been searching really for something that would really work. I spent a ton of dough on looking for something that actually bring people in. Now I also did a lot of I've done Google ads, and I've tried that kind of stuff. I've done websites that tell me that, okay, we're going to start bringing people in. And the reality is that, they would track everything, and then they'd be telling how great it was. But the reality is I wasn't really seeing anything of significance coming through the door. Quite honestly, if it paid for itself, it was a blessing. That's the thing. I found that the more I focused on how much everything was costing, the less effective it was. The reality is that a lot of that stuff wasn't even paying for itself anymore. It was very frustrating. Company after company that I would use, so I'd quit one company and I'd go with Google AdWords, and they made a lot of promises, and then I went with another one and they made a lot of promises too, and they kept giving me all this data that said how great things were. But at the end of the day, it's even though they say that I was getting all these phone calls and they were tracking them, I wasn't really seeing it, right? And certainly, I don't know where those phone calls were coming from or where they were getting their data, but I kept my own data. And the reality is that we didn't have a lot of people coming through the door.
Most chiropractors would like to have the quality patient, and I think that's what us as chiropractors really do focus on, is like, well, I want a qualified patient, someone that's going to come in, they want to get adjusted, they want chiropractic care. The only problem with that is we were running those ads and they were bringing in a lot of new people, and then all of a sudden they just slowed down, they dried up. And it was because they were on the bottom of the funnel. They were just focusing on that small subset of the population that is already looking for a chiropractor.
I heard about platform, believe it or not, on Facebook, and saw a doctor that was having a massive success with it, and decided to give it a try because I knew I needed help marketing wise, and I didn't have a ton of time to spend on it.
I'm Erin Rose. My husband's Dustin Rose. We own Rose Chiropractic and Wellness in Fort Worth, Texas. Platform I was really hopeful about it because it was kind of a model that I'd been looking to implement somehow, but didn't know how to create it or anything, just in terms of building the communication with the patient before they're in. So that was hopeful, but we'd had such a terrible experience before that I was like, it's too good to be true.
So the platform strategy is online Facebook ads, but it mixes those ads with communication on the back end. Those two together let people know that they can trust you and that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
I saw a platform online, and that's really where I was like, okay, so I'm talking to this person, and they could probably even hear the skepticism in my voice, but I was like, okay, you know, I know there's something with this online marketing. I know that I don't have all the answers, and so, you know, maybe we can help me, guide me. What's your strategy that's different than what I've used in the past? And with Platform, their strategy was different, where they were targeting different groups of people, and I could choose those people. And so, you know, in my area, one of the groups of people that I enjoy working with and that seem to really respond well to our office would be fellow healthcare professionals. And so, I mean, I have to be honest, the last few months that we've been doing this, I have seen more nurses in this office than I ever have before in my life. And so from nurses to other professionals in healthcare, even pharmacists, even had my first physical therapist as a new patient, which is, you know, as a chiropractor, sometimes that's like, wow, a physical therapist actually coming in as a new chiropractic patient. That was unique to this platform system.
So we got involved with Platform, and the strategy was very different. It was targeting a larger percentage of the population, not necessarily focusing on people that are solely looking for the chiropractic care, that maybe they've been to a chiropractor before, their mom or their brother is like, hey, you need to go check out this chiropractor. It's just a really, really unique approach. And because of it, we've had a lot of leads, a lot of consistent, predictable numbers of new people that we're talking to, which is really cool, because for us to be able to text message, email, call people, and maintain conversations with people in the community to build their trust, to cultivate a relationship with them before they even come in, is actually pretty cool, because we weren't ever doing that before.
I'm always skeptical about people when they, you know, I mean, they want to do something online, but then they want you to sign up for a year. My question to them is, you know, what's up with that? I mean, you know, why a year? It's online. I mean, I get it when it was the Yellow Pages because it was out there for a year. I mean, I get that. But there's absolutely no reason to have a contract for a year. And so, and just place after place after place, it was always a contract. There was always a contract. Now, I could always negotiate that contract down from, and they're going to make me a special deal for like, okay, we'll only hold your feet to the fire for 6 months, and we never do that, which I find hard to believe. But the reality is there shouldn't be any contracts for online stuff. I mean, I get it. Just you should have to have some sort of commitment to you know, pay for. I mean, because there's upfront costs, and I get it as a business person. There's upfront cost, but why is there a year contract for anything on the internet? So the benefit for that is certainly that shows me that platform marketing believes in one product, because I mean, anybody who does it is going to benefit from it. So why have a contract? Why wouldn't they re-sign up?
So one of the most striking things for me when I first got started with Platform was that they didn't have any contracts. There was no 12-month, 6-month contract. It was literally month to month. And I remember the CEO of the company, Tim, telling me, I don't want you to be locked into a contract. I want to show you that it's not about the money, but it's about us producing the result, which for me was very, very different than the approaches that I had before from other companies. Other companies, it was, we want this result for you, and we promise this result, but oh wait, you got to sign this contract. And so in retrospect, looking back, I knew contracts were because they were fearful their product wouldn't produce the result.
We got locked into a contract with a different marketing company, and we realized within 2 weeks it wasn't going to be effective. Not requiring a contract lets people know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, because if you don't, you lose that customer.
Platform marketing, no contracts, month to month. I knew that I could back out anytime I wanted, but I never need to because I keep getting the results. So I follow the recommendations, I film the videos, I work with the company to modify and change the ad structures as we need. And so it's a win-win situation being month to month.
Platform's been different just because one, it's no contract, so if they don't perform, then they don't get paid, which I like. You don't work, you don't eat. And not only did they not require a large sum of money, thousands of dollars to get all my information ready to be delivered online. They actually gave me a discount to start with them to make sure that they were going to perform for me and that we could work well together, which to me was good. It was a trust building month, and so I had to create the videos and do the follow-up, and they put everything online and they were quick about it, and they edited the videos for me, which was great because now I don't have to deal with all that stuff. I just do it raw and then give it to them, and then they do all the rest of the work and put it on there for me.
With Platform, they focus on really building the relationship with the patient beforehand, and that is huge. So for me, it's like you ask a certain number of questions before you go in with the offer, and that made all the difference. So at first I kind of was like, oh, I'll make it my own and do my own thing. It didn't work. Like, stick with what Platform tells you to do and you will have success. That's been my story with it.
So marketing companies are if they're doing their job effectively, will produce leads, but it's always the business's job to follow through with that lead. And we discovered that the leads follow through process is really where the gold is. Well, I shouldn't really say that completely. We'll say that's where the silver is, because the gold is having ads that actually produce leads. So we know we can reach people, people are listening to our message, people want what we have. Then the silver is in the leads follow through process. And so if we can effectively do that, then we've got a gold and silver platter that's just laid right before us, where new patients are really coming in and starting care in our clinic. The other day I was scrolling on Facebook, and living here in Nashville, practicing here in Nashville, I saw 3 chiropractors with the exact same ad. It wasn't the exact same because their clinics are different locations, different names for their clinics, and slightly varying prices, but for me it seemed like the same group on offer. And that's when it really struck me, none of our ads working with Platform even look remotely close to that. And then I was like, holy crap, we actually have a corner on the market. So I love the fact that Platform marketing doesn't work for our competition. It's really reassuring for me. I like the fact that I know that we have a radius around our clinic. There's no other clinic that's going to be running the same ads as us. That's very reassuring.
Having an exclusive market, I think, is pretty obvious. I had like the websites. I started looking around, and I'm like, well, geez, if they're trying to make me the best in the market, and I look at my competitors' websites, and they have the same one. I mean, we're all fighting for the same piece of real estate, if you will. So having the ability to just be the only person in my area is tremendous.
So I think most chiropractors that are actually trying to grow are doing some form of online marketing to some degree, right? And when you find someone or something like Platform where it's actually producing a bunch of leads, it's nice not to have to worry about my neighbor down the street using the same company and targeting the same type or people with the same strategies, right? And so having that kind of like non-compete for my area with Platform, I think, is a huge benefit. So that I don't have to worry about good friends and colleagues, but using the same strategies that I am to attract the same type of people or same people. With the area restrictions where it's like one doctor per area, I can talk to a Dr. Dave or someone else or Dr. Ben in a different state or city that's running the same marketing program that I am or something very similar, and we can talk about strategies for tweaking it and really getting the most out of the results.
It's everything. I mean, in Fort Worth alone, I could probably count maybe, 15, 20 chiropractors around us. And for us to be the only people that have that system gives us such a big advantage over the other offices. So it's everything. It's massive.
So working with Platform, it's really reassuring knowing that I have an accounts manager that is developing a personal relationship with us, following up with us on a weekly basis. I'm able to call her up whenever I need to ask questions about our ads, or modify our ad spend, turn on or off an ad, really address any concerns. So that's nice having someone on your side that's really fighting for you. I know a lot of the other companies that I was working with didn't necessarily have that role to help facilitate really taking the burden, the stress off of me as the business owner and putting it back on someone that's gonna fight for me. So it was nice to have the accounts manager that really focuses on us, making sure that things are running properly. Having access to someone that knows what they're doing is really invaluable. And not just being able to have a company that runs our ads, but also to have a sole person that you can go to, that you can call up when you need to, that's gonna help alleviate any stress or burden, help make modifications to your ads, that's gonna be fighting for you, is worth the ticket price alone.
So having a personal account manager every week, chiming in, this is Miss for me, every Tuesday at 11 o'clock keeps me accountable, right? And so it's kind of like that top of mind thing, you're juggling, several different things in an office. One of those is in our office is platform. And so, yes, I'm doing it, but every week that I talk to Miss, I'm doing it better afterwards. And so it's a new strategy for the next thing because it's always about the next thing, right? And so the next thing that we're gonna roll out, how we've been doing in the past week, and then ultimately, hey, is there any new things that we can do and tips to get them more out of what we're already doing, right? And so it's great. It's 10, 15, 20 minutes or longer than that if we get talking. But ultimately, it just kind of keeps us moving forward with what we're doing, which I've never had with the other two companies that we've used.
So having a personal account manager that is there with us every single week to tell us how our ads are doing, to let us know if we need to shoot more videos, to let us know that we need to change certain things and create little tweaks. That's everything. For somebody there to be constantly supporting you, because we don't ever know everything about social media, but somebody that does and can tell you guys what's working for other offices, and that's been awesome.
What's different about platform versus other things that I've done is that they've always had a website and they had a tech person, and you could click online and ask some questions too. And so that was fine, but it was never the same person, right? It's always some name, and they were always very helpful. But having somebody like a person, then you kind of get to know them, and it's like having an extra person on board.
So at the beginning of the year, we lost a couple of key team members, which made me nervous because this is our time for growth, and we had some big expectations and goals set for the year. And with Platform over the last few months, we've actually been able to still grow, even losing a couple of key team members. We've seen over 500 leads come in, and that's huge, and I think that's important. But there's a lot of companies that tout the number of leads that they give. It's really how much. As a business owner, it's how many of those is turned into dollars, right? And so, as a chiropractor, we're trying to save lives, and you can't save a life that's not in here on your table getting adjusted, right? And so, how many of those people are actually converting into new patients? And then, of those new patients, how many are actually converting into committed patients in our office? On average, there's in between, I would even say 6 and 15 new platform patients that have been on our books for the last 2 to 3 months consistently, which I can't think of anything that I've ever seen bring in that many new patients consistently with, as the lazy chiropractor is saying, with the least amount of effort possible. So that's been, we saw 50 new patients last month, which is almost a record for us in our office.
Platform has been, it's been awesome. It's been amazing. It's doubled our new patients. It's made us more money. We have more time off. It's really been the solution to our problems. So that first month when we had all those new patients coming in, it was a little scary because I didn't know it could work that well, and I didn't know anything, Facebook, social media, networking, whatever, would work that well. So it was a little of, oh, this is just the first month, I'm sure it'll die down after that. And it hasn't. Over the last couple months, we've actually broke records that we've had for a long time. We're talking years. We broke new patient records. We broke how many patients we see in a week records, in a month records. We've broke collection records in one day. Yeah. It just goes to show you do have to have new patients to grow. People walking in your doors wanting chiropractic care, that right there is just really, I mean, got the office to another level. Our first month using the platform system, we had 60 new patients. So that was pretty cool.
Since we started platform marketing, each month has grown at least 10%. So 10% one month, 10% the next month. We've been averaging, I just looked it up, we've been averaging about 5.5 new patients per week. But when I say 5.5, those are just specifically from the platform marketing. Before that, I'd tracked my new patients per month, and it was just over 4. So we're getting the ones that we did. Actually, our organic new patients have actually increased too, just from the energy. It's kind of weird that way, right? You organically are going to start, people are going to start calling the phone when you have more energy in the clinic.
For the past 9 months, we've had a consistent influx of new patients, and it's been amazing. We've had 30 to 35 new patients monthly on average that have been coming in from social media. And so for me as a business owner and lead chiropractor in our clinic, to have that weight taken off of my shoulders of not having to worry about marketing, to not be worrying about this upcoming weekend I have to go to the screening event and I can't be at home with my wife, to not have to worry about, well, what's the next event that I need to do in our clinic that's going to bring in new patients.
Platform has exceeded my expectations from the very beginning, from the training to all the resources and then how they deliver. We're always getting new patients. We've had to slow down the number of patients that we take in. I'm having to kind of slow walk the new patients just because there's only 2 of us.
Our office originally was not built to handle this many people coming through the doors. So we're talking about possibly moving, even if we stay in this location, we're going to have to move some walls, put some doors up, just to be able to handle the growth that we've got.
I'm not worried about setting up another event or doing anything else. It's just, we're going to have new patients. We know we're going to have them because they're pretty much waiting in an inbox somewhere. And for the first time in our 5 years of marriage, he's planning a vacation for us to go on. So that's been huge. I'm excited and hopeful that we'll actually get a honeymoon.
So I was definitely a skeptic beforehand because I'd tried a couple different other companies, and so ultimately it was just do it, because if you're in business, you just got to keep taking a calculated risk, and you got to keep growing. And so it's always what's next. And so if something hasn't worked in the past, move on and just do it, and actually do what they tell you to do, right? So make the videos, respond back to the leads, and I think you'll notice that more people are coming into your office. You're going to have the numbers that support continuing on with more online marketing.
I can't tell you who the best marketer thing is out there, but I will say this is that this is the first thing that's worked for me in a long time, and it's by far paying for itself.
You have nothing to lose. If it's not working, you're not in a contract. You have nothing to worry about. But the thing is, for us, it's worked and it keeps working. So I would get off the fence and get on with platform.
Platform marketing enables me to facilitate my mission. It helps me live my mission of reaching more people. And if you're a chiropractor that's trying to reach people, the best way to reach people right now is through social media, through targeting ads, being able to actually know how many people hear and see your message.
A lot of the times I like that ready, fire, aim mentality, and I think if you're on the fence, just do it, pull the trigger, and then listen to what they tell you. And if you don't want to do it, have a team member do it, and you will see that it's when you have more new people coming in, you're going to have more collections, you're going to have more people face down on your tables, and your community's better, your bank account's better, and your home life is going to be better.